Good evening. I'm Dennis Woltering.
And I'm Karen Swenson. With heavy hearts, we are so sorry to tell you tonight that New Orleans has lost a legend, and he was our dear friend.
Frank Davis died earlier this evening after a long battle with a rare disease. Tonight, we remember the good times with Frank, the tough times he bravely faced, and his legacy, which will endure.
Even those of us who write for a living are hard-pressed to find the words to describe Frank Davis. But any description of him has to start with the word original.
Hey, don't y'all just love the way we talk in New Orleans? I sure do. I'm Frank Davis for Channel 4 Eyewitness News, and yeah, you're right. This is Naturally New Orleans.
He often said that his was the best job in the business. And who could argue with him? He loved his work, mostly because it let him do what he did best.
I love people. I'll talk to people any place.
It was true. Frank could talk to people anywhere about anything. Fishing, cooking, and the little things that make this city so special. He was the seasoned chef you welcomed into your homes every Tuesday morning.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen.
Even before that, he was the fish and game reporter who knew his way around the outdoors better than most and made it look more fun than anyone.
Phil. Yeah, Sacale tonight. I got the box open for you, Sacale tonight. All right.
And if that weren't enough, this New Orleans native turned the spotlight on other local characters who could only be described as, what else? Naturally New Orleans.
Everybody sing like this. Allons danser, Kalinda. Allons danser, Kalinda.
He made the job look so easy. Critics might have thought anyone could do it. But those of us who worked with Frank during his 30 years here knew better. And he had the talent almost from the beginning, when you consider he learned to cook when he was a boy.
Dad was working the Chalmette Laundry, and my mother was working for Wembley Tie Factory. And I was the first one home, and I had to take care of my brother. And they said, hey, Frank, you know, fix some supper.
And he was even younger when he first grabbed a fishing pole.
Went out with my dad when I was about 7 years old. We used to fish every Saturday and Sunday religiously. And we went to Irish Bayou and rented a boat, rented a skiff for $2, fished all day long, caught croakers.
After high school and college at UNO came an unlikely job as an X-ray technician and with the State Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, before Frank finally combined his love for the outdoors and for writing into a job. In the early 1970s, WWL Radio asked him to translate that talent to radio.
Then they want to know if I can do a thing called Weekend Live. Live programming from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and noon to 6 on Sunday.
In 1981, his radio success spawned a TV career, following a call from then Channel 4 news director Jim Boyer.
Can you do in front of a camera what you've been doing all this time in front of the microphone? I said, sure. Cocky sucker that I am, okay? I said, yes.
That led to the weekly Fish and Game reports, a favorite for local fishermen for more than 30 years. And before long, Frank was also a feature reporter. No small job in a city like New Orleans.
I tried to make it real. You know, someone said, Frank, what part of the Midwest are you from? Are you from New York or what? I said, no, you got to be from New Orleans to do this kind of stuff, because you got to go back to the old New Orleans mores. You got to go to the New Orleans traditions. Those things are naturally New Orleans. And now for something very naturally New Orleans this Christmas.
On the first day of Christmas, my mama...
As Frank himself was, which showed in each and every one of his stories, from his features on people, places, and local history, to his coverage of this sportsman's paradise. He's probably the only TV reporter in the country honored with a fishing spot, the Frank Davis Fishing Pier under the Seabrook Bridge. Frank was a best-selling cookbook author and a businessman whose Louisiana spices were sold around the world. Most importantly, though, he was a devoted husband, a loving father, and a grandfather. Family is one reason he retired to Texas in December 2011, though we didn't know at the time how much he would need the love and support. A little more than a year later, he told Meg Ferris about the rare disease that left him nearly paralyzed and bedridden.
Thank God in heaven that I got that happy personality, that I can see something bad and smile about it, okay? Believe me, I don't want to smile about it because it bothers me.
It was a side of Frank that none of us had ever seen before, which made it that much harder to take. A man that we all knew as full of life was fighting for his. but the spirit was still there, along with the love of his life, Mary Claire.
He didn't lose any of his thinking abilities or anything like that, so we still can communicate as much as we did before and love for each other. It gets stronger. And I'm always going to be there for him.